What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk to you about Opendoor, primarily shorts, and if I see a short squeeze coming or not. So I want to go over all the things that you need to know, but first make sure you guys hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So Opendoor had a very kick-ass day today, went up 14.46%, had a high of 1087, so a new 52-week high was created, and the highly anticipated catalyst came to fruition, so we got the 25 basis point cut. In addition to that, Powell alluded to a 50 basis point cut over the next two meetings, or at least in 2025. So as efficient as the market is, started to assume a 25 for the October 29th, and then a following 25 for the December 10th. In reality, that is just icing on the cake for Opendoor and its business. When it comes down to shorts, there's been a lot of screenshots of this individual, Martin, kind of floating around how when Opendoor was at the peak, like when it was up 20%, it supposedly made him cry, as you can kind of see from this. I don't know if that was just altered or not. To be fully honest, I knew some individuals were really starting to say, hey, short Opendoor, blah, blah, blah. I didn't know it was one of them was him. So kind of interesting how that all played out. But nonetheless, though, shorts, it's kind of weird. So I cover quite a few different stocks, many different YouTube channels, and I generally, regardless of whatever stock I talk about, I bring up shorts, what they did in the day, what they've been doing, whether the stock is a squeeze play or not. And so I feel like Opendoor, it has a little bit more of an identity crisis. And I've brought this up kind of in the past, how essentially people saw Opendoor as a meme stock. And I feel like when it comes down to meme stock, people instantly correlate that with shorts, short squeezes, and all that other fun jazz. But you did have a lot of big notable names such as Eric Jackson coming out and saying, no, we are not a meme. We are a cult. Similar to type of mentality to Tesla, right? And we all know how well that kind of turned out for Tesla. Of course, it's been rocky, but generally it really worked out. So you kind of have this weird kind of back and forth. And then you have this whole other group, in my opinion, that's like, no, we're not a cult. We're not a meme stock. This is a good fundamental company. So you kind of have a trifecta of sorts going on. This is why you don't actually see a lot of individuals, such as even Eric, saying, hey, we're going to squeeze. In reality, Eric and others are calling out people who outright post saying to short. So they kind of go after those individuals, but they're not out there saying, hey, we are going to have, molasses, whatever people used to call it, and we're going to go to the moon just through a squeeze. So I think it's kind of like I said, it's a unique circumstance where people don't really know what Opendoor truly is, whether it's a meme stock, cult play, or if it's just outright a momentum stock, I guess, and as well just a fundamental value play. So it is kind of a weird type of scenario. So in my opinion, because of that identity crisis, shorts, whoever is shorting Opendoor is and does have very deep pockets, because despite it running up like crazy, just in the last 3 months, they've lost a good about 1.25 billion. That's the ones that are still holding on for dear life. Of course, I think a lot have actually returned. At the peak, short interest was about 34%, give or take. And so there was that little bit of a squeeze ultimately that started to lay the foundation for it to really move higher. Luckily enough, that is when it was like roughly around that $2 range. So they kind of spared themselves quite a lot. But there's still 162.27 million shares overall being shorted. 24.67% of the free float's being shorted. And even today, shorts did increase 71,000, give or take. So you can kind of see that right over here. And on a side note, there's roughly around 6,000 shares available to be shorted. And so coming from a individual like myself that covers a lot of squeeze plays, this definitely does have squeeze written all over it. So once again, it could very much squeeze. Do you see a lot of people talking about it? No, you actually see a lot of people talking about the fundamentals, what the actual interest rates are doing to the fundamental business, how technically they laid off, making their bottom line so much better, balance sheet is strengthening. You're actually having people talk about that. So I feel like it's again, this is just my mentality of everything that's been happening. This is like a GameStop crowd, but they've stepped up. Over the years, they've educated themselves on accounting principles, on what companies should and should not be doing. So it's like a GameStop, like a smarter GameStop crowd investing in Opendoor. So same type of diamond hand mentality, but they are smarter and they're focusing more on the fundamentals. So again, this is a little bit more of a scenario. I just wanted to kind of talk about what shorts have been doing, how in reality you could very much see a squeeze, but interestingly enough, you're not really talking and seeing people talk about a squeeze. So let me know your thoughts on that. This is just more of a random video. I already did a video earlier today where I went over a lot of the data points, key levels to kind of watch for. Like I said, I primarily have covered Opendoor under my other YouTube channel, but I do want to transition to this one. So this one is going to be solely just Opendoor. And that's because I actually do see a lot of good upside with Opendoor itself. So I feel like it's kind of better suited just to have a full actual dedicated channel to Opendoor. And I have that same type of thing with a couple of other stocks as well, but I feel like big things are going to be coming for Opendoor, whether we have a squeeze or not. So I think just shorts might naturally leave on their own accord, and you won't see a massive mother of all short squeeze or anything like that. And honestly, I'm good with that, because every time you have a squeeze, 9 times out of 10, it gets kind of dragged back down to where it is. So let me know your thoughts on Opendoor. Do you believe in it? Do you want to see a squeeze, or are you just in it for the fundamentals? And when it comes down to that whole meme / cult / momentum / value play, what do you think Opendoor is? Or do you think it's just a hybrid of all of them combined? So what's your kind of general thoughts on all that? Don't forget to hit that thumbs up. One final thing, pop over to my Patreon if you're looking for some solid buy signals on stocks, options, crypto. I put out numerous day trades every single day, as well as multiple swing trades. So definitely a lot to digest. Pop over there and take a look at them in the description below. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.